What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dad Talk today. I am joined by the pissed off parent, Mr. Dwayne Ward. Dwayne, it's an interesting time. This was not scheduled, guys. I think we're just like everybody else in the last hour. We've been seeing the showdown between Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Have you been following this, Dwayne?
Not really. I just you got a hold of me, and I started looking up some information, and in ways I'm a little perplexed, trying to figure out what's really going on, and I keep having this reoccurring feeling that this is a conversation occurring on Twitter or on X. I'm sorry, that should have been a phone call, but who knows?
So I guess we'll go ahead and go over it. Michael Keller said, why the Dad Talk Today intro? Why is this stream not on Dad Talk Today? So we are streaming live on YouTube, guys, to the pissed off parent. And if you haven't subscribed to Dwayne over there, please do. I'll just go ahead and be transparent with you. We had a short video that went up, and because I didn't mark it for
adults,
for adults and not for children, I got to wait a week before we can stream again. It sucks. But we need to give some love over there to the pissed off parent anyway. So like I said, guys, make sure to go follow, like, share, subscribe over there. And also we're live on several other platforms, Rumble and my personal page and Dad Talk Today's Facebook page and on Twitter. Hopefully Elon Musk will see it. I'd like his help with fighting some of this transgender madness. So for anybody that hasn't followed it, man, I know we usually talk about family court stuff today, but we wanted to just come on here and talk about what's going on. So the last thing I saw is now that Elon Musk is saying the reason that we are not getting the Epstein files is because Trump is listed in them. And I was like, holy crap. So I started going down the rabbit hole. It's getting pretty dirty today, man.
It did. I mean, yeah, I saw that comment, and now it actually has been, I don't want to say debunked, but something that, Trump had been on the plane something like 7 times. There's no evidence that shows he was at the island. It does show him back in 1992 being introduced to Epstein, whatever he is. But yeah, as far as the being on the island and all the bad stuff, it's one of those, who knows? It's just weird that you've got these two big egos, and a lot of times having egos, it helps them succeed. I mean, again, Trump is the president of the United States. His ego got him somewhere, but when situations like this happen, you get this, unfortunately.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it sucks, dude, because they was like the dream team, bro. But I definitely have my views and my beliefs. I definitely lean more conservative, even though I hate a lot of conservatives. Hate's a strong word. I hate them. I dislike them very much. And I think they're a big part of the problem, because you think they're the ones that actually care. Most of the time, they're not, especially when it comes to fathers' issues. But man, I don't know how this last election would have went if he had not had Elon's help. And I'll be honest with you, dude, I'm such a big fan of Elon. And guys, take your political stances out of this today. If you got something from the opposing side or whatever, I want to hear that too. Yeah. Because we're discussing. You don't have to hate each other over political beliefs. People need to get over that shit, dude. I am so tired of that. If I don't believe the way you do, I can't talk to you, as long as it doesn't go to insults. But does anybody remember, I think it's been about 2 years now, what life was like on social media before Elon bought Twitter? It was pretty bad. We couldn't say anything.
Could not say anything.
And it was very rough on Dad Talk, dude. I got so much censorship and so many different community guidelines, violations for fighting for these fathers that were trying to make sure that their boys stayed boys. I didn't stand for it, but if I spoke up, I was going to lose the platform. So you was constantly having to watch what you say, watch what you do. And when he came and bought Twitter, it was like a breath of fresh air, dude. Because you got to say, Facebook's not perfect. Never has been. It was actually getting there for a while. They almost lost the thing. It was getting pretty bad. Yeah. But supposedly Zuckerberg came around and said no more censorship and all that. It's still there. Nowhere near where it was, though.
I'm living proof that that's not true.
Yeah, nowhere near where it was.
Oh.
Michael Keller on here said, Eric, here in Europe, they made laws that AI will now censor everything, including emails. And everything that goes against the narrative will be gone. Media, TV, social networks, everything. Dude, if I'm not wrong, they've got something going on in Germany. If they can put you in jail over a meme. But here's the thing. That's Germany. I mean, they've got a few things in the history books that probably don't look so well on them. But you would expect that maybe in some of these other countries. But there was somewhere in the United States not long ago, I heard they was trying to do that same thing. Where was it, Dwayne?
Texas
wants to put you in jail over a meme.
Yes, 1 year in prison would be a felony if you made a political meme about a politician.
It's nuts, dude.
I wish I could make that up.
Nuts.
They just had a lady over, I can't remember the country, not the United States, but she had a billboard talking about rights of children. I assume it was a pro-life message, and she was physically put in jail for having a billboard. I mean, that's one of the things I do enjoy about the United States is we do have, in a way, freedom of speech that other countries don't enjoy.
Yeah, dude. This country is so spoiled, dude.
Yes.
They have no idea what it would be like to be overseas. And because of that free speech, they're allowed to be spoiled. Right. They had never had to see anything like that. This is a rough one for me, what we're talking about right now, though. And there's so many different areas to go into. It all stems from that, what's called Big Beautiful Bill, BBB.
Which
it's big, all right. I don't know about beautiful. I've definitely got my hang-ups on it. And I know it's got to be, a sensitive issue for Elon after doing what he did for Doge. I don't know. Like, dude, before he bought Twitter, that was one of the most popular guys on earth.
People love Teslas. The left-leaning world loved Elon. And then when he supported Trump, when he started seeing what was going on and started supporting Trump, obviously, that ended. They were torching dealerships, putting various things on their cars and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And he became, very hated.
While talking about how bad January 6th was.
Again, the double standard, the hypocrisy, the pull a mirror thing. That's a whole other fun one. Yeah, the hypocrisy of that group is interesting. But he was the darling. They were the dream team, as you had mentioned earlier. And some apparently they're getting a divorce to kind of keep it Dad Talk Today related. They're getting a divorce and custody of the children.
As it seems, man. Ronald Nachman said, let's get Putin to mediate the war between Trump and Musk. That's a good one. I like that. But no, on the more serious side of things, it might just been an accusation because he's mad. But when they brought up Epstein, that's a sensitive issue with me, man. And I'll tell you why. Yeah. This guy was a known pedophile.
Right.
He committed the word I can't say on here. 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago now, and we still do not have that information. That's really troubling with me, and I don't know if anybody's been following it too closely. A lot of this stuff you don't see on the mainstream media. I wonder why. Right. It's almost like they're compromised. But I was watching an interview with James O'Keefe the other day. Anybody not familiar with him? Prior, Project Veritas used to blow the whistle on a lot of stuff, or whistleblowers went to him to break stories. But one of his viewers sent in a video where they was at a bar and had met up with Pam Bondi, the AG, and they was in a conversation, and she's just like blabbing everything out, talking about how they had thousands of videos of Epstein with kids, pedophilia.
Yeah.
And this is at the time everybody's asking about the Epstein files. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, she recorded that, sent it into O'Keefe. And O'Keefe said, it's sad because this is, I guess, typically the side that I would be defending. And he was like, but we got to call out the corruption wherever there's corruption. So he called up her office the next day and said, hey, I've got this information and I'm going to be releasing it. The following day, she does a press conference and tells everybody that they've got footage of Epstein and everything. And it would later be, the information would be coming out. And that was get ahead of what was about to happen with O'Keefe.
Yeah.
In a time, everybody's asking, what's going on? Plus, we were supposed to be getting the stuff about 9/11. We still didn't get all the stuff like about Kennedy as we was promised.
Yeah.
A lot of it got out, but it was redacted as we was told. It was not supposed to be redacted. But the thing I can't wrap my head around is, why are we protecting information and evidence for a known pedophile? This is not a government agent. This is like no royalty or anything. This was a pedophile.
Right.
And we are protecting information. Who are they trying to protect? I don't think they're trying to protect Epstein. He's freaking dead. His reputation is gone.
Yeah.
They can definitely protect the victims by not releasing their names. But why is this information not out there? Something just does not smell right, dude.
Yeah, there's no good reason. But I've thought about that back and forth, and I'm just wondering if the American people are ready to receive that information.
They've been ready. It might be a shocker.
There might be the occasional person, but I joke. Actually, I made a video about over on Pissed Off Parent about the average person. That with the big beautiful bill, there was a provision in there for working adults in order to receive SNAP benefits. They were lowering the age for the work requirement for verification from 18 to 7. And there was a slew of videos that came out, people saying that Trump is lowering the age of being legal from 18 to 7 and expecting 8-year-olds to go to work. So that's where I get into that whole, is the American people, are they, to the masses, are they smart enough to even understand this?
I don't think so, dude. And the media, just when you think they can't get any worse, they get worse. I try to make sure that I have eyeballs on all of them, even though the majority of it I can't stand looking at. But every day in the news cycle, for the most part, I'm seeing it's Fox talking about how bad MSNBC or CNN is, or the opposite, and it's like, what does this have to do with our news cycle?
I want Walter Cronkite back. I want,
I do too.
Guys, here's the news. You figure it out. I'm reporting the facts. You figure it out.
If you really want to know what's going on, you have to search for it, man. Like that about the Epstein stuff and the thousands of videos. That should have been a huge story.
That should have been day one. We should bring out the gallows again and do it the old-fashioned way. Why?
Or we're going to go back to something that we talked about not long ago, and and if you guys want the source, if you go to Glenn Beck, Kash Patel was on there prior to the election. They're talking about the Epstein files, 9/11, and the Kennedy files, and they asked him what they think he should do with it, and he's day one. He's like, we need to release this day one, specifically on the Epstein case. And he said, you're talking to a guy that's already seen this. And he was like, we need to release that information on day one. That is the exact opposite of what has happened.
Yeah.
And now we're being told that he didn't off himself. You believe that?
Well, I'm sorry, you're saying that he did commit.
No. Kash and Bongino are saying that he did not. Or no, that he did.
Yeah,
sorry.
Wait a second.
My bad.
They switch again?
Brain fart.
Right.
They're saying that he did.
Okay, right. I can't believe it. I can't believe that he self-deleted. It's just one of those things where I can't buy that he self-deleted.
I can believe that he did if somebody was there making it happen. It's either you do it or we're going to do it. And you would much rather do it yourself.
Now, didn't they say that the cameras goofed up at the time so they don't have a record of it? But now they're saying there's video evidence that they can show he did it.
So prior to it, those videos, the video cameras were on, but they weren't recording. And they later found out when they went to try to access it that none of the recordings were found. Now, according to Bongino and Kash, and I've heard Bongino talk about it a little bit more, he's saying that they did have a camera in another area that they've watched. And throughout the day, you can see the guards go in there and then come back out like they were checking on them. And you can see nobody went in there. You don't see any of the action or anything. You just see that Nobody went in there besides the guards, so it would have had to be him.
Right.
And that the video is like really poor quality, and they're trying to make it cleaner so that they can release it. And it's just like, man, with all these years, the way that you've withheld evidence and AI the way it is right now, I don't know that I would believe anything.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like Mike has a thing here. There's vid evidence and poor quality showing dude hang himself in a cell that was delivered designed so the inmate cannot do that in there.
All right, so you get to think, dude. I know somebody that was in that prison. I interviewed Michael Franzese, former, mob worker.
Yeah.
And I heard him talk about it. He was like, there is no way in hell anybody should be able to do that in that prison. He was like, it's one of the most maximum security. That's where you send the worst of the worst.
Right.
And you're saying at that time, cameras not recording, no security is watching. There was things there where he could actually pull it off because you're supposed to maximum security. You shouldn't have anything around where you would be able to pull that off in the first place.
Yeah, no shoelaces, none of that stuff.
And again, just the question that just bothers me so much is why are they keeping it covered up? All these years later, why are we covering for a pedophile?
I just think the American people are just too stupid to take the information in.
Were we ready for 9/11? We're usually not ready for any of this stuff.
I mean, to get the information, what actually happened. I just don't think the American people are smart enough to understand and do something with that. I from what I've seen, again, I'm doing this tongue in cheek. We had a segment of the population that believed that Trump's big, beautiful bill was lowering the age, the legal age of adulthood from 18 to 7 and expecting people to go to work at 8 years old. Like, they honestly believed this. It wasn't clickbait. And it was a large population.
You're talking about people, man, that are just on there to react right now. I agree. I mean, they very rarely investigate and try to find out what's actually going on. I take what I'm told at face value. And this is not the time that you should be doing that.
Right.
By no means. I was going to pull up Musk's page real quick and show some of these comments, man. It's getting kind of crazy there, Dwayne. One of the things he said, this is an interesting one, said, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? 81.4% said yes, and 18.6% said no. How do you feel about that, Dwayne?
It's a double-edged sword, really. We have, obviously the two and a half party system for the most part, and it's money that gets people in. I see that at the local level, at the state level, and the national level. It should be one person. It should be the way the founders intended it, but a whole different conversation. But yeah, we need to probably have we need to have a bigger pool so that people can vote from that, captures their ideas and thoughts. As opposed to, just having Republican or Democrat or Independent, Green Party. I mean, you have the ones that get, less than 1% of the vote. But I've seen it think about at the local level, in Texas, and I'm sure other states are following suit. Even for our ISD, our school districts, they have spent in a small town. They would spend $1 million to get one of their people put in at the local school level or for a group of schools. The amount of money, and it boils down to whoever has more money. Because I've investigated this over a decade. How do you get information to find out who the best person is? I mean, I have stuff on my website that you can go to and you can research and all that, but how many people actually do that? How many average Joes are going to find out, that so-and-so voted this way X number of times? And that gets me down the whole rabbit hole of how corrupt Texas is in our voting process. But, and Americans, we don't think about it. We don't, who we vote for. We say, oh, well, Trump sends mean tweets, so I'm not voting for him. Like, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And of course, we've talked before, and I made it I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed immediately. the 25th Amendment, the 16th Amendment, and needs to go back to a whole different thing, which, will get us off all these other rabbit trails. But or the voting process. I mean, we have people that can't even pass a 5th grade civics test voting. It's messed up.
I'm going to take a completely different approach on that I don't really ever hear anybody talk about. I am completely not in favor of creating a new party. You already got the libertarians, and how is that working out? Nobody even really takes them serious. I am of the opinion we should abolish the parties. I don't think we should have political parties at all. That keeps out all of the corruption. Maybe not all. There's always going to be corruption, but that would get rid of a lot of it. People would have to do their homework and vote on somebody because of their beliefs and what they stand for, and not the color or letter beside their name.
Right.
I look at them as political gangs. And anybody that goes around saying, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat and just go straight down the ticket, it's just asinine, dude. Because there's corruption in both parties, and it's big. It's not a little corruption. It's a lot of corruption.
Yeah. Well, but then on the flip side, you have people that vote one party and they don't care. They'll never vote for a Democrat or a Republican. And then I know people that have voted for someone simply because they like Christmas and the person's last name was Reindeer.
I'm so many years behind, dude. But the last time we had a president that wasn't a member of the parties?
Oh gosh, I know this, and
this blows a lot of people's mind.
It was a you know what? I could sit here for 2 hours and try to remember it. Want to say, I mean, it was.
Does anybody want to give a guess down in the comments?
It wasn't like George Washington time.
The first president?
Wasn't it? Yeah, I think that wasn't that. I mean, they didn't have a party.
It was George Washington.
Okay, I was like, that one's too easy.
And he warned about the political parties. He said it would be the destruction of our nation.
And here we are.
Here we are. There we are. And it's just going to keep getting worse and worse, dude. There is nothing worse to me than meeting a politician. They tell you everything you want to hear. They're good at it.
You met them all over the country.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then, dude, it's that person that when you talk to them, they can convince you that, they're amazing. No matter how much you dislike them or whatever. And when you meet them, that's what they do. Slimy politicians, various politicians and attorneys, about the same type of people for me. Many of your politicians are attorneys, which would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's and again, getting people to stand on principle, and that's an area that we've got to kind of talk bad about Trump a little bit. Is that he stood on, and actually he was called out for it. Actually, Elon Musk has the receipts on those. That he said I was going to do X, and now he's not.
Well, dude, the documents, those were 3 cases. One thing I want to clear up for people, Dwayne can tell you more than anybody because he's had to sit there and listen to me ramble about it for a year now, but I'm obsessed with the JFK case. And I've heard so many people say, like, we don't even need to be wasting our time on that. That's not a big thing. And I beg to differ so badly. Because I believe that's where most of that corruption started. You want to know how to tie it together? Go back from the beginning and follow the trail.
Right.
I believe that's when we really, America was no longer innocent after that. We weren't before, but at that point in time, we knew something happened. And it's like we've had a stain on our country and this political system ever since then. And I believe it's tied in. And then when I started there and started realizing, our country wouldn't do that. I think our country did that. Then it starts making you question the bigger ones like 9/11.
Yeah.
And you start going into that, seeing Alex Jones predict it, finding out Osama was connected to the CIA, which the Kennedy, CIA, that's 3 letters I hate, dude.
Well, I mean, going back to Kennedy, just a little, civics lesson for some folks. We were going to go back to the gold standard in Kennedy's time.
Well, and so I believe that's the truth. There's some saying that it wasn't, or that was, but there was a lot of evidence to show otherwise.
Right.
He wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
we wouldn't be 37 trillion dollars in debt.
What was the
that's how the debt got created. He knew it. And because he wanted to get rid of it, they got rid of him.
Yeah. And what was
my opinion, allegedly? Sorry.
Yeah. What was the first thing that the new president did when he was brought in? When he was on the plane, Kennedy's body still was cold and swore his oath. That was the first thing he took care of. Yeah. And it's not conspiracy nuts. It's like, this is the information. But yeah, you're right. Our country, I mean, had never been innocent, but really at that point, that was of recent times when our country really took a turn.
At the time of right before he got killed, you had the Bay of Pigs. What happened to make Kennedy look horrible, but it was because he got bad information from the CIA.
Right.
So he didn't give them the backup that they needed.
Right.
After that, he was looking at the corruption of the CIA. So he fired the top dog, his name was Alan Dulles, and he was getting ready to completely dismantle the CIA. Well, then after he got killed, they rehire Alan Dulles, the one that Kennedy fired, and that's who investigated his assassination.
Can I bring something up that'll get a lot of people mad? And this is from a conservative bent. I was just kind of thinking about this the other day. We've all been hearing about the auto pen thing and Dr. Jill and she was running things and all that stuff. In my day, we had Ronald Reagan, and we all know that he suffered a lot of mental decline in the last probably
right.
years.
That's a good point.
You had Nancy Reagan, who did was doing a lot of stuff there. What was different about what Reagan was doing and what Biden was doing?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think Jill should be guilty of neglect and abuse. And you know what? As much as I was not a fan of Joe or Brandon, there's a part of me that has some empathy there. Because even family members, as they get older, they don't want to believe that they're getting older. They don't want to believe that they have limitations and can't do the things that they used to. Right. In their head, they're thinking, no, I can do this. I'm okay. And that's clearly what's going on with the guy. And it couldn't be further from reality. And now, I don't know if you saw it, dude, his press secretary, that Karine Jean-Pierre, she's coming out with a book. She's went independent, and she's about to do a tell-all.
Oh, yeah.
So you got all this going on with the Bidens right now. Now you got this going on with Trump. It's like, dude, it's a mockery. It's a mockery.
It does not look good.
It's not a good look, man. And on top of that, you put the amount of money we owe.
37, we're getting ready to hit $37 trillion. That's
no, I haven't looked at it in a while. Have you ever pulled up the debt clock and just watched it?
Yeah. Actually, I did a story on that on Pissed Off Parents Show probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and I walked through debt, national debt, personal debt, how to get out of debt, and all that fun stuff. I'm an old Dave Ramsey guy, and talk about our national debt, which no one wants to talk about, and that gets back into that big beautiful bill. I saw a lot of the things that they're talking about. I see what Trump's trying to do. I don't think we've done enough. We're just not able to sustain our debt load. We need to reduce costs. I mean, we've tried to put it in a lot of different language, but if your household is only taking in $2,000 a month and you're spending $3,000 a month, eventually you're going to go under.
And I get what he's saying, but at the same time, like, dude, if it's going to do the things that you say it's doing, explain that to the people. Say, here's what's going on. And then I know he's taking a lot of fire too, because it hasn't been just Elon Musk, but Senator Rand Paul. I heard him speak on it. He was like, think about your kids. He was like, do you just give your kids a credit card and make sure that it has the highest limit it can get and just say, hey, go, and not give them a cap? Or do you say, hey, here's a card. It's got a certain amount of money on it. It's got to last you until then. Make sure that you use it wisely because you're not going to get more. That sounds a little bit more reasonable. And so what he was saying is, especially with Congress and our politicians, that we should say, here's a budget for this period of time. 3 months later, let's go and vote to bring in more, not just say, oh, here's, however many $1 trillion and thank you, come again.
Right. Yeah.
I think that is a very reasonable approach, man.
And that gets into, again, we talked about Trump is he has an ego, as does Elon Musk, and he did not like being questioned, as we've seen. I get it for all the things we want to say about him. He's the president of the United States. That's part of the reason why he got there.
One of the biggest comebacks in history, for sure. So the debt is 36,588,359,000,000.
Yeah.
$14,163. And I guarantee you, since I pulled that up, it's went up a good bit.
You can go on the live clock and it just shows it spinning because it's obviously pulling the interest in. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not able to sustain it, and no one in Congress has the balls to do the things that need to be done. We need to remove certain things. But everybody's got all these pet projects, and they don't want to lose votes, so they keep all these stupid programs that I talked before about. And it's not a huge number, but Social Security is going to be insolvent by the year 2035. They're saying now 20%. It was originally 18, now it's 21, where everybody across the board is going to get all of their amounts reduced by 21%. If we were to remove that 10-year, your ex-spouse can get half of your Social Security thing that's been written into law since the 60s, because it doesn't make sense, that would save some money, but no politician will touch it. That's just one of a million examples.
And so you see this debt. All right, now let's play devil's advocate on both sides. We'll pull for Trump for a second, then we'll go to Elon. We'll start off with Elon. Elon, richest man in the world on paper. I believe there's a lot of those oil tycoons out west. They're not telling you how much money they got.
They're smart.
But regardless, as we know, richest man in the world, got some of the biggest businesses, very beloved, takes a break from that to come and do something for our country, to do a service, to get that debt down, to get all that waste and spending away. In the meantime, they start burning his businesses. He becomes one of the most hated men. He's taken all these different shots. He is not the best socially, by no means. Trump could talk himself out of it. Elon's not the greatest talker out there, but he does this 130 or 135 days that he did. No telling how much money he lost during that time.
Right.
Not that he's driven by money. I mean, once you got, like, how much more money do you need?
Right.
But at the same time, it's a sacrifice, whether he needed it or not. It was a sacrifice. Not many people would have done that. He did. And as he's on his way out, he sees this bill coming in. And he's like, okay, I saved 200, maybe a little bit more, $1 billion. And it was like pulling teeth to get it down. And now I'm looking at this big, beautiful bill with trillions that are added on.
Right.
I think I would probably be pissed off too.
Yeah. And
I think the way he handled it was awful.
Piss poor. Yeah. Yeah. He's
Yes.
not. Those two firing off on Twitter, on X, it was not the best way. And it's funny is when you look at what that does and the projections and the data, it's going to be that annualized that couple $1 trillion is going to be over a period of a few years, and it's based on not replenishing the amounts from a lot of the tax cuts is where some of it is, and that's where we're talking about this off camera, is that everybody wants the tax. There's a lot of great tax cuts in there for average Joes. I mean, the estate tax, medical taxes, recaptures, catch-up plans. There's so many things in there. Hell, there's that $1,000 for babies. Different things there. Well, it's got to come from somewhere, and we're still spending more money than we're taking in, and we've got to adjust that, and we just haven't yet. I don't know what the answer is, but nobody wants their pet project removed. If we were to say we're going to he tried to do the SNAP benefits. I mean, we spend an amount through SNAP, and he said, hey, we're going to lower the work requirement that you have to verify that you are working in order to get SNAP benefits. And if you have children that are between 7 and 18, not today it's 18, but from 7 to 18, you have to then prove that you're working in order to get SNAP benefits. And we saw what happened. Everybody went absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And that's one of many. I mean, I can only imagine where we take a look at all the other. I'm looking, and that's another thing too is so many people are sitting there talking about it. They haven't even pulled the bill up to read. It's actually not that long. It's got some good information on it. I've got that. I've got the analysis, and I mean, it makes perfect sense. I see what they're trying to do. And there's a lot of good benefits, and they're getting rid of a lot of the waste that we've had over the decades.
Well, you know, in my youth, because I'm still a very young guy, it's hard, you know, in 2025, being in your 20s, early 20s. Yeah, anyway, I was just going to say, Dwayne, you've lived a lot longer than I have, calling you old. Anyway, you've had a little extra time on this earth, but looking back my life, I don't remember a time where we have been this politically charged. Was there in some of those extra years that you had on earth that I had, was it like this?
The extra 12? No. I mean, it was not as bad. I mean, I, grew up in the Reagan era. That's when I was, kind of got involved. Clinton, that period and all that. It wasn't near as bad as this. It wasn't, Trump comes out and says, I've cured cancer. And the left comes out and says, oh my God, he hates cancer people. We've never had that bad. There's been political nonsense and stuff, but never this bad.
You're probably too young to remember the Carter years.
I was around for Carter, barely,
That's what I was saying. You probably don't remember much out of that, do you?
No, he went down as well up until our most recent.
Up until Biden.
He went down as he made some bumbles. And I mean, I still remember I was at oh boy, not Mondale. I remember they asked I'm tongue tied here. I think it was a vice president under Reagan. They asked him to spell potato or something. I'm remembering.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And he misspelled it, and the kid was like, "I'm not gonna whatever," and they made fun of him for a couple days. So there was that, but nothing like what we're having today. I mean, Trump wakes up in the morning and everyone says, "Oh my God, he hates the nighttime," and that we got to get past that. We've got to.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I just saw a really good comment, and at the same time, guys, we would like to hear from you. We see we got a good bit of viewers back there, man. Tell us who you are. Give us your comments. There's no right or wrong answers.
Yeah.
We're on here discussing, and we should be able to do that without people taking shots at each other, man.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do here. No matter your political affiliation, let's talk.
Yeah. Ron's making a couple good ones. Daniel made some good ones. Clinton era was bad. Yes, it was.
Yeah. The only thing, so you got your good and your bad. I mean, one thing I can say is during the Clintons, we had a decent economy. It was a lot easier to get around, but that's about the only positive I can say out of it. But he had that, and I was actually shocked. They asked Trump which president he thought was the best, out of the last 30 years, and he said Clinton. He said he didn't think Clinton got enough credit, and it got overshadowed by his controversy. But he's a very smart guy. He handled things good. He was just not a good person. I was actually shocked to hear Trump say that.
For the folks that would attend here, he made a couple bill changes in the 90s that
one of the worst for fathers.
Yes, one of the hands down worst for fathers, no doubt about it. Him and Ronald Reagan, when he was a governor, those things that were done. Let's see what we got here.
So this is something Elon Musk just reposted from Kaizen Sudu. I think I've seen him on Piers Morgan a couple times. Really good contributor to a lot of these shows. He said, I hate this needs to be clarified, but no, Elon did not criticize Trump personally first. Trump criticized Elon first. I did my homework. I saw that. Elon criticized Trump's bill first, and he was just going after the bill, not Trump personally. Trump commented on Elon around June 5th, 12:08 Eastern during a press conference. At 12:46, Elon commented on X in response to Trump's press conference. Without me, Trump would have lost the elections. Dems would have controlled the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. The bill and moving forward is what we should focus on, but the truth matters. I have to say, dude, I even think that comment's true. I don't know if Trump would be in if it wasn't for Elon. At the same time, like I said, I'm going to play devil's advocate on both sides. That was kind of a shitty thing to say. And you knew Trump wasn't going to take that good.
It's one of those smart things when your wife asks you, "Do I look fat in this dress?" She may. You keep your mouth shut and you just smile.
Yeah, that one wasn't going to go over. But again, they burned his businesses. He lost a F ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
Went from being one of the most popular to one of the most hated. I mean, that guy has been through literal hell for doing what he did for us. And then he sees the man that he did it for criticize him because he doesn't agree with him with a bill. And this is what you got in retaliation. Now we have to put ourselves in his shoes. How would you have taken it? You know, we know what it's like going through like the divorce and custody cases when the ex would say something, you know, it's the people that you love the most, that you care about, that will make you angry the most.
Right.
And that is an emotion that comes from caring. So
Yeah,
this is a guy he had an awful lot of admiration for. I mean, he even used to wear the hat all the time that says Trump was right about everything.
Yeah.
You know, he was definitely a hardcore Trump guy. So the whole thing's shocking. But I would say, yes, Trump has his faults. I think he does great for the economy. I think his biggest downfall has always been his mouth.
His mouth, yep.
If you're not loyal and you question him, he doesn't take that so well. And the people that he surrounds himself with, he's horrible about that.
Yeah. Last time he surrounded himself with some bad people, and this time
it is too. And one of the people that called that out in the beginning was Kennedy. You know, Kennedy's been very loyal too, but I remember he was talking about BlackRock, and there's another one I can't remember. What's the other one? It's like BlackRock. Anyway, but there were several people from BlackRock and some of those other organizations that got inside of Trump's cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, dude. That's scary. That is the last people we need in there. He's never been the greatest about who he picks to be around him. It looked like he did a good job this time, but you know, it's still early. We'll have to wait and see.
Just so many people, it's hard to vet everybody, and hell, they say one thing and do another. Sometimes you just don't know. I'm curious to hear like what other people are thinking. We get a lot of comments that are coming in. I'm like, keep them coming. I
was shocked, dude. When I went through, because I was trying to like see the lay of the land, like usually this would not go good for anybody opposing Trump, but it was about 8 to 10 in Elon's favor, dude.
Yeah.
Like about every 8 or 9 people you'd see comment in favor of Elon on Trump's page.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, I'll have to log in there in a minute and show it to you too. But yeah, it was pretty shocking. I got another one right here.
Imagine if it was Dorsey. If it was Elon Musk was Dorsey, do you think he would have removed Trump's account from X? Because I assume he's still letting, still.
Okay, say that again. Dorsey.
If it was Dorsey, if Elon Musk was Dorsey, like say we were still in the Twitter land and Dorsey endorsed Trump and this was happening, do you think he would have like canceled Trump's account like he did last time?
Dorsey.
You're
talking about the roles reversed?
Well, because Dorsey was the old president of.
You're talking about the old president of Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got who you're talking about now. Rephrase that question, or tell me that question again.
So if Elon was Dorsey, if it was Elon never bought it, and those two became buddies, and this happened, do you think like Dorsey would have been like, no, what? I'm canceling his X account or his Twitter account? He probably wouldn't have renamed it.
At the time that Elon bought it, Trump wasn't allowed on Twitter.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until Elon reinstated Trump on Twitter that Facebook, Instagram, and everybody else followed suit.
Yeah.
So not only do you got the election, then you got the social media and his right to even speak. And whether you think that wasn't that big of a deal or not, that hindered Trump big time.
A lot.
Because he had one of the biggest social media accounts out there. His social media rocks.
Right.
And then it was just completely taken away from him. And you had to get the emails. And I tell you what, they're aggravating because he'll send you 100 a day.
Yeah. He's moving along. But I just wonder, because Elon, I guess, is well within his rights to, cancel his account, but he hasn't. He's like, hey,
he is. I don't think he will.
I'm hoping not. That would be that next level petty. They both need to grow up. I hate to say it, because this, you're sitting there with your kids and you're talking about, president and all this other stuff. And And Daddy, the big orange man just called him a.
So I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet. And because I've seen a few people comment this, I even had some family members that said this. Curious to hear of everybody there in the comments, but I'll ask you too, Dwayne. Do you think this is all one big ruse? Like they are creating this just to see what happens?
You're reading my diary. I again, with everything I've seen, the theater and everything else, I think this is WWE wrestling.
It would be a perfect plan, right? I saw somebody who was like, this was the perfect plan to get the left to accept him again, start buying Teslas and everything. So this was a plan between the two of them to undo what had been done. Yeah. And it's just all theater.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan is evil, then he becomes nice. And
God, I would hope not. I hope the person in the White House wouldn't be using that position to pull something like that off.
It's the day and age we live in. I can't put it past them. That's the other part.
No, you can't. You can't. I agree.
Everything I have seen out of the administrations over the last 20 years, I couldn't put a thing past them.
Michael said, I think they're making a show so censoring X by EU will be allowed by the Trump regime.
Oh, okay. VPN.
Yeah. Daniel Chaffee said, I got placement of my two kids in a mom state, and I was found guilty of assault, 4DV with an intimate partner, letter of the law for offensive touch, literally shushing her while she was screaming in my kid's face. Thank God for facts and the Trump administration.
Good job.
I mean, dude, I get this one thing. The dude has definitely got his faults. But looking at what all he's been through, and then he was shot. And another reason I think the Kennedy case matters, because history almost repeated itself last year.
Almost, yeah.
And what do we know about that one?
Yeah,
it's almost like Kennedy 2.0, dude.
The kids' social media and everything about them just wiped off the face of the earth. And it's amazing how easy they're able to do that. But then those same people will say, no, trust the government.
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me?
I think not. On here, Elon reposted. Let me pull this up so I can read it. Said the relationship between Trump and Epstein is well established. Trump flew on Epstein's plane at least 7 times, though it's not clear he went to the island. Here is what Trump said about Epstein in a 2002 New York Magazine profile. Epstein likes to tell people that he's a loner, a man who's never touched alcohol or drugs, and one whose nightlife is far from energetic. And yet, if you talk to Donald Trump, a different Epstein emerges. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Yeah. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. This is something I think has gotten very out of hand.
Very.
Because just because you was associated with, in the same room with, went to a party or something like that, you're instantly associating that guy with the worst thing that could possibly happen. Well, like zero evidence that there was any of that went on. And it's not just him, dude. It's happened with many of them, the Cosbys and Diddy, and Diddy's the new thing that's going on right now. But it's just like, I wonder, I don't know.
Well, and the people on the left, they're just coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, they're stoking the flame. They love the drama. And yeah, just because you've taken a picture with someone, I mean, you went around to, almost all 50 states. You've met thousands of people. Just because you got your picture taken with Hulk Hogan doesn't mean that.
Well, dude, I've thought about that too. I won't name any names, but there was several of the legislators that I've taken pictures with, because I took pictures with everybody that I met and interviewed. And then I find out like some dirt on them later on, but you can't hold that against me. Like, I had nothing to do with that. At that time, we didn't know what we know now.
Right.
And that's gotten so far blown out of proportion, man. And then the stuff about Hitler. Well, who else like this was Hitler? Well, I wonder if Hitler drank water. I wonder if he ate bread.
I watched
the things they use. I mean, I guess this is a little bit different because Elon is openly saying there was this association, but unless he's got some evidence to back that up, I think that's kind of null and void, don't you think?
Yeah, unless he's got hard evidence, like, well, I don't know, like the pictures, like the videos, the thousands of hours of videos that we have. Pull one up. I mean, yeah, do that. Yeah, the whole association thing. I mean, I watched the Cosby Show as a kid. Does that mean that I'm going to do date rape? No.
Well, you know what? Elon Musk dated Amber Heard. Does that mean Elon Musk beat up Johnny Depp too?
I think so. Yeah, maybe he taught her how to poop in the bed.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
that was a crazy case too, man.
Yeah, the older I get, I just go, people need to grow up. I mean, we can value our differences. We can come across the aisle and talk about things that we agree with or don't agree with, and attack the ideas, not the person. And from what you pulled up earlier, Trump it looks like he's guilty of attacking the person, not the idea.
Oh, 100%. At that point, early on, the only statement that Elon was making was against the bill.
Right.
He hated the bill, and he wasn't alone in that.
Right.
And he wasn't alone in the fact that it was other Republicans that were saying, hey, we don't want this going on.
Right.
That's when you start to take it personal. So like, I'll say that even for myself and my own social media. Mm-hmm. I know what I say isn't popular. It is popular with the people that like it, and the people that don't like that, they really hate it. I got some that probably wish for my death. And if they've got a political difference or they don't believe the same as me and they get on my page and criticize me, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with, the second I see you call me a name or an insult, block. Right. I'm not putting up with that crap, dude. And nobody should. There is no room for insults and disagreement.
Right.
I mean, you can even get into a hardcore debate. Sure, you can throw some sarcasm and stuff in there. But when you go doing stuff like that, dude, you're a loser.
Yeah. Well, we were talking off camera a couple days ago about the whole Texas THC ban thing that's going on. My representative, who I voted for, I supported, I did all kinds of stuff for him. He came out in favor of the ban as a veteran. And, I'm waiting to have more of a conversation with him, but I criticized that position, not him. It's called being an adult.
It surprises me because that's another thing. The conservatives have been against marijuana.
Yeah.
That's just the popular stance, that you usually get. Maybe not all, but they are. And that's, I think, we've learned it's not something I do. Haven't done it in almost 2 decades, but I used to. I'm very familiar with it. I think it could be a amazing medicine for people. Right. And I think it is way, way the lesser of the many evils that are out there. I'd much rather see somebody doing that than doing alcohol. And you take this thing that can be used as this medicine that is, many people will tell you, was more effective than pain medicine or Xanax, or go down the list, and you outlaw it. Right. What for, man?
Well,
that shows you their intentions. Those are people that are getting the money in the back pocket, just like the judges with the attorneys.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I just wish people would grow up a little bit and have just open discourse, talk through the issues, actually be educated on the issues. A lot of the people that are fighting, and I know Mike is asking about, for us non-U.S. people here, what bill did Musk criticize? It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill. That's going to be our budget and all that fun stuff. But Elon committed the ultimate sin and criticized Donald Trump's bill that he's proposed.
And everything was okay until that.
Yeah, they were sweethearts.
Dude, I mean, like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Is like, maybe not criticize, but say, hey, what about this right here? I think we need to maybe look into this. I mean, dude, just the way he went after Rand Paul, you know? I think Rand is a great politician, and anybody that doesn't believe that, go look at what he did during the COVID era with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Nobody set Fauci in his place as much as Rand did.
Right. Well, he was educated. He had the evidence, had the facts. He presented them, and he attacked the position, not the person.
Yeah. He said, I voted against your impeachment twice. I voted yes to every single cabinet member except one. I have voted for you on many different things. If it was about the tax cut, you'd have my support. I do not want to be adding money and increasing the debt ceiling. I am in favor of giving a certain amount of money and 3 months later voting on getting more. I don't see how you could not go along with that, dude.
To me, that sounds reasonable.
I think that sounds reasonable. He's not saying no, 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 no. He's saying here. And if it does what you say it will do,
right,
nobody's going to fight against you. Prove it.
Yeah.
But if we just say, hey, here you go,
blank check,
and it doesn't work, we just keep going on up, and we're never going to get rid of it, man. Dude, we're not far away from it getting to the point to where when we do get the money that comes in and we make a payment, it's going to be all towards the interest and none's going to be going towards the principal.
Well, that's where we're at.
We don't have much time left to correct it. I don't know if people realize just how bad of a shape America is in.
Financially, and that's where I get back to the people aren't educated, and they, would rather, watch kitten videos than, get involved and try to correct these things because, our time, or definitely my time, is over. I mean, everything will probably come down after I'm long gone, but I'm worried about my kids, your kids, and the future of America, because America is a great country. We're the best. I'll say it to the rooftops. Sorry, Mike Keller, but America's the best damn country in the world.
No, dude. I mean, I've had times where I went out of the country, and when I got back, I could have kissed the ground. Like, thank God I'm back. And you know what? It took me doing that to realize it.
Maybe.
There's that old saying, you don't realize what you got until it's gone.
Right.
Yeah, man. It took me, even here where I live, I used to hate it. I can't wait till I get older. I'm going to move. And then I did that 45 states in 2022. And I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to get back to Georgia. Yeah. You don't realize what you got, man. We are so lucky to be in the United States of America. And I hate seeing Old Glory go through something like this, dude.
Yeah.
Not just like the politically charged, but even like one of the big issues, and the media loves to stir the pot with this, is racial issues.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Man, they've set us back 100 years.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember a time since you've been alive that the racial tensions were like they are now? Yeah,
they changed when Obama was president.
Absolutely.
That's when it changed.
And it's so sad because I'll admit it, dude. I was excited when he first got in. I was not a Bush fan at all.
I wasn't a fan of Bush, but I had read both of Obama's books, which apparently most of the voters had not. And I had researched the guy, and I'm like, oh, heck no. And here we
I got to have a conversation with his brother.
Michael?
No, Malik.
Oh, Malik. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was
Barack's brother.
About also the whole thing, but yeah, the whole Barack thing. Yeah, all the fun controversy there. But I remember, I mean, I've been involved in the politics for quite a while as far as doing the research and learning about it and being an informed voter. And when he started rising to power, I was like, all right, I bought both of his books. I read them. And it was a politically charged time. And I would have people reach out to me and say, and this was at work, everywhere I went, those conversations would happen, oddly enough. And I would talk to people and I'd say, well, I was reading his book. And they would look at me and go, wait, he's an author?
Yeah.
Like, voting for the guy and you don't know anything about him outside of the color of his skin.
And he fanned those flames so hard, dude.
God.
Man, he fanned those flames so hard. I had never seen the tensions like that.
Yeah.
And I could never understand it. The thing that made Obama the most dangerous to me was also his talent. Is he was one of the greatest speakers I ever saw. He could present himself well, dude.
I'll give him credit. That boy, he definitely took a Toastmaster course because that boy could speak. He could talk. Good game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I would love to share the details about that conversation with his brother, but out of respect, let's just say, I don't know if you know this. You know, he was a Trump supporter. Brock's brother was. He actually campaigned for Trump at one point in time. You would think they would make that a big deal and tell everybody about it, but they never really pushed that really hard.
Yeah, they didn't really bring that up. So weird. Yeah, I wish the political divide, the racial divide, all the nonsense
I'm so over it, man.
has eroded us over the last, I'd say, 30, 40 years. I mean, there's always been, I call them shenanigans. Even, when I was a kid, Carter time, even before that, it was just it's so in your face. I think some of that's because of social media, because instantaneous news. I mean, of course, with the whole Kennedy deletion, I had to watch, my language on the platforms. But that was the first time there was a live broadcast of something happening. That was, they got the new equipment in and all that. But just, that fast getting information. Of course, now all the misinformation that's come out is and then what happens is most people get their news, well, for good or for bad, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. That's where they get their information, and there's bad information out there. I tell people, like, the big beautiful bill, if you don't like, or if you think you don't like what it is, go read it.
Yeah.
And then make a decision.
So it took me a minute, but I got Trump on here. Let's see. I'm going to go through some of the posts. He looks like he's made it. I think it's a new one because I'm just now seeing it, but it looks like it was like 3 hours ago. Here's where it started. 4 hours ago, he said Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. And people that don't do their homework, they see that and they're probably going to take up for the president. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. He was going to take money out of his pocket. Dude, Elon posted himself. He's got several videos where he was in the media and he said, I do not want the EV mandate. And they asked him, well, what do you want us to do with it? He's like, I want you to delete it.
Right.
We do not need a mandate. And
right.
So it's kind of a personal shot.
That's what they let their personalities, or Trump. I think Trump's in the wrong for this one. When you read through the bill,
I see some wrong on both sides for sure. But I think it looks like this is where it got personal, because here was the follow-up. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contract. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. This is a guy that just ran DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, that was appointed by you, that you are on this platform taking shots at.
Well, there's actually a response from Musk on his platform. They said, great, we're going to go ahead, the Dragon, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the deal. Musk, his technology.
They need him.
We need it. I mean.
Absolutely they do. They need him. I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, Trump needs to be the bigger person here and do the right thing. I mean, it's just for so many reasons. They need to kiss and make up, or fight it, like do it old school, fight it out in the schoolyard and be done with it. Shake hands and move on.
Here you go. In light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contract, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. I don't, it's probably hard for him because he's not used to someone who has more money than him,
right,
or a bigger social media presence.
Right.
And Elon's got both.
Right.
I think he's forgetting here that this is the guy that has FU money, to the point when they censored him on a platform, he bought the platform.
Right.
For multiples more money than Donald Trump's worth altogether.
Right.
And the same guy that put all of that on hold to campaign for you.
Right. Yeah.
That'd
be your biggest supporter. It's like, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. I mean, and that, I think Trump's stepping on his tallywhacker on that one, to quote my daddy.
You think it's that long?
Well, you might have to lean over. Who knows? I just wish they would both grow up and, make a quick phone call and go, you know what? We said some things in the heat of passion.
Might happen, dude. I think, you know what? I bet they go and read the comments, and if they read the comments, that's what the majority of people are saying. So hopefully they see that and they're like, what are we doing? Because I don't think anybody really wants to see that war take place. There was one more comment, and this was a newer one I hadn't seen. Trump said, I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done it months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country in the path of greatness. Make America great again. And criticisms and positives off of that, man, is they keep talking about these tax cuts, saying it's going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Go back to 2016 and the 4 years that we lived under the guy, and then think about the last 4 years that we just went through.
Well, yeah,
the difference is huge. I mean, it's gigantic. During 2016 to 2020, the middle class and the lower, we were doing pretty damn good. Yeah. And I don't know if you go back the last 4 years,
not so much.
It was killing us, dude.
Right.
It was absolutely wrecking our economy. I went the other day and I had to get a Snicker bar. One, king size used to be $1.
Right. Oh yeah.
$4 for a freaking Snicker bar, Dwayne.
Right. Yeah. And that makes you angry, and you're not the same person until you get your Snickers.
But it was always the stereotype that the rich get richer, the poor get poorer with the Republicans, because that's been the stereotype for years.
Right.
And it's like the parties have flip-flopped. If JFK was alive, he'd probably be a Republican now.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The parties have just completely flip-flopped, man. And the most richest people out there, excluding Elon Musk, are Democrats. All your celebrities, I don't want Oprah and all these people telling me what it's like to live a normal life. They have no idea what the struggles and stuff like we are going through.
They have no
Tom Hanks and dude, the whole list.
I don't see them bringing coupons to the grocery store and saying, "Oh, hey, we can't get this because of that," and all that. I've looked through the big beautiful bill, and the stuff that they're talking about in here makes sense. There's again the estate tax. So when you pass away, your heirs aren't taxed on whatever you have left. They're capping that. Standard deductions. The only one that I do have an issue with is they're talking about the auto loans deducting that interest. Now I get most people are going to do standard deduction and won't even apply, but they're wanting do the same thing they do for house interest. Again, I'm an old Dave Ramsey guy. No, I'm thinking
the only criticism I've seen so far is the money.
Right. Well, it's the 1.7 trillion over the next 9 years of what the budget deficit is going to get increased by, based on the GNP growth of 0.8%. And just to really break that down is we've got only so much money coming in. And this is going to change that, by lowering taxes and the ways they get money, and our GNP is only going to grow 0.8%. Well, with the increase or the decrease of revenue, that's going to increase the deficit. Hopefully, that's not the way that goes.
Yeah,
that's what that's the stuff I go off on tangents about. You got people that have not taken Econ 101 or basic home. They think their student loans should be free. That kind of thinking, and they're trying to be upset by parts of this. It's like, read it and understand it, and then say, yeah, this makes sense. And then if you don't like it, vote your people in that are going to support your values, like Rand.
Yeah, dude. I think that was a great solution. Hey, we'll give you money, but we got to come back every so often, say, was it effective before we approve more?
Right.
And that's how you get a bill through. Get in there, work with each other, talk about it. It doesn't have to be like this. Daniel Chaffee on here said, what are your thoughts on the no taxing overtime wages? I thought that was amazing. It was so amazing. Kamala had to copy it.
Yeah, it was so good.
You shouldn't be we get taxed on everything. You get taxed before you get your payday. You get taxed on your home, your gas, everything that you buy, then property taxes. I think they get a half of every dollar that we make, if not more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My taxes go up every year. And I'm a fan because, well, again, you're de-incentivized to work overtime. I mean, if you're working, doing whatever you're doing, and you're like, all right, I'm going to put in this so I can get out of debt, pay baby mama off or whatever. And then you're like, well, if I do it, they're going to tax it at some crazy number or put me to a new tax bracket or do whatever. Why would I do it? I'm going to sit on my butt and not do anything.
Yeah.
You know, how am I going to pay off my student loans? People that have student loans, how am I going to pay that off? Well, you have to work more. Well, if they get overtime.
Don't do student loans, guys.
Oh my God. Do not do student loans. Oh my God.
It's a trap. I'm not even a fan of college anymore. I'd say go to trade school.
Trade schools. I mean, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. And it's, well, that's a whole kind. We'll go down that hole. Some of the comments I've seen thinking I think someone should pay my student loan for me. When did that become okay in the United States? Like, I grew up in an era where if you do something, you fix it, you pay it off, you whatever. The free handout,
it's not about making sense, dude. It never was, and they don't even think it makes sense. They're just hoping that if they give something, they can buy people's votes. That was the whole thing about letting, people just rush over our border and opening up our borders. Right. And the scary thing is we lived through 9/11 and we know what happened. And that was because we had people in this country that we didn't know was here and what they were capable of. God forbid, we have no idea who is on U.S. soil right now. And it is going to take us a long time to clean that up. And they are blocking him on that. See, that's where this stuff that goes against Trump, I'll fight full force for the guy. Right. I love what he's doing. He's done a great job with immigration, and he had a big task that he had to go after. But could you imagine, dude? We have no idea what could be getting constructed behind the scenes right now because of people that have got in this country that shouldn't be here.
What's weird is 24 years ago was September 11th. How in 2-ish decades did we get from where we were to, let everybody in. They're all the next nuclear physicist. How the hell did that happen?
I have no idea, man. Guys, all I can say is we're probably about to start wrapping it up here, but I hope we can heal that divide. I think it takes getting on here and doing some of the things we do. I would like to get some more shows like this. It doesn't always have to be about family law. Yep. Okay. I'm never going to stop fighting for fathers, but I would like to get some more of these other conversations in there. I think this is a big conversation because I was hoping we were going to see the healing of our nation. We definitely needed it after those last 4 years because, dude, just the price of living, hell, talk about the price of living, the price of dying, everything is out of control.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. I'm too poor to die.
That's it, man. But guys, do me a favor. If you're watching over there on the Facebook, head on over to YouTube and youtube.com/@pissedoffparent. Make sure you give this guy a follow. He finally broke 1,000 subscribers, and he's been making some great content over there, man. And we'll be getting some more, too. At the same time, go over there to Dad Talk and today on YouTube. And when that suspension's up, we'll start making some more content. But we'll be going live on Facebook. Until then, we're also on Rumble. I like Rumble. If we could grow Rumble, because we got no censorship over there. And I think I even got it rolling over on the Twitter. So hopefully Elon sees it. I would love to get in touch with Elon, dude.
On the
trans issue, dude. These parents that are fighting for their kids to keep them from surgeries. I talked to several of them today. People think when Trump got in office and started making some of those laws that it's over with now. Nope. No, it's not.
Oh, in fact,
they still don't have their kids. It didn't change anything, guys.
Yeah.
The tricks are still going on. And I've got some stuff coming down the pike that I've been waiting on for a long time. And it looks like things are about to start heating back up with Dad Talk and some projects that we're going to get behind. And I promise you, they're going to be huge.
Huge. It's gonna be huge thing. But yeah, Elon, if some strange reason you're watching this, please reach out to Eric. We would love to have you on that issue alone.
Look at that down there, Dwayne.
Oh, hey, who is that lady?
I don't know. Why are you in the picture?
That's my, yeah. Hey, yeah, no, it's my twin. No, it's my lovely bride. She's very supportive, just to prove that there are some good women out there. Actually, Eric and I both have some great women. Took us a couple tries.
Absolutely, dude. That's the thing. They paint us as women haters, and I can tell you right now, I talk to a lot of people, and Dwayne feels about his wife the same way I do about mine. I couldn't exist without mine, dude. And yes, I went through some nightmares. That's why this show got started. And I hate talking about them. I only do because I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else. But you couldn't ask for two people that love their wives anymore than the guys you see right here. But we know there is some injustice going on in this country, around the world, and we want to clean it up. I wish nothing more than for the guys that are watching this show to be able to find them a wife like that, and to be able to have a family, the nuclear family, like we used to have, and not go through all this bull crap again. Unfortunately, there's just so many traps that set up out there in our law system. Don't even get me started, because we'll go for another hour and a half.
Exactly.
And we will go for another hour and a half. It's just going to be on another day.
Yeah.
So, with that said, man, go follow those pages, guys, and we'll see you next time.